A for asshole. When we begin to take form in the womb, the very first thing to develop is our asshole. Our cells meet, and in a moment of absolute brilliant genius, they decide that, yes, to be selfish and to spew shit from all our orifices is the true, primitive purpose of existence. The asshole, when we are fully developed human beings, is also at the opposite end of our head. I am unsure which hole I speak from. B for bitch. TV mothers refer to their daughters as sweetie, honey, or my dear and lovely darling. Mine like to call me bitch. To this day, when I black out and the next morning my friends tell me I howled the most horrific obscenities, shoved them around, told them fuck off, I don't need or want your help, I know it is true. When I'm mean because I don't expect any different from people, then realize I'm wrong, I know it is true. When I feel seen, I know it is true. Someone should have told me back then that I really wasn't all that bad. C for conch. My mum can spend hours crouched in the sand collecting little shells. It is incredible. She fills glass bottles of all shapes and sizes with them, complemented by sand from Bali, the Maldives, the Bahamas, pink, black, white. There are things to go with more things. Her modern art collection, her labyrinth of designer clothing and jewels, her infinite chamber of silverware, glistering shelves of picture frames. Press a conch to your ear, and you have infinite access to all the riches, the undulating rhythms, moans and groans of the sea. Look a conch in the face, and it's a gaping hole of fleshy white, and all you're really hearing is the sound of your own blood screaming. I believe all obsessive collectors are really just cowards, professional escapists from the big picture, the grand beach of existence. D for ... I'm in my old room back in Hong Kong, locked in by 4 walls of faded blue. No, black. It might be morning, afternoon, or night. I wouldn't know, wouldn't care to find out. Face engulfed by pillow, every gasp is white dust and every thought condensed desperately into ellipses. I don't like to think when I'm here, and I inhale weed like oxygen. In my mind palace, there are 3 dots in those rooms where there should be sweet lullabies, unshattered plates and bowls, and family game nights, or whatever the fuck nuclear people like to do. Scrabble, Monopoly, the floor is lava. How about let's all pretend to be asleep? Shut up or die. E for emaciation. It's a common subject of study that many young girls who become anorexic do so as an attempt at differentiation and separation from an overbearing mother. They wither into skeletons because, at the very least, their mind and body is no longer under the beck and call of a mother. The new god and guide is death. F for fly far, far away. I know all birds have to leave the nest someday, but not like this. My sister called one night to tell my mum she didn't. She forgot to apply to one of those top colleges. Stupid mistake. The same old straws, family business meetings, dishonest friends, and 2 expensive lawyers. Us-related mundanities, scheduling details, nitty-gritty. She can't be anything but tired. So she screamed that she wanted to die, screamed and screamed with her head buried between her knees until all I could understand of her figure was utter wretchedness. Spat that she would sell all her beloved items so we could finally leave, because that was surely what we all wanted. Then the world became water. She asked me why I was crying. What reason did I have if I wasn't her? I told her it was dust in my eye and twisted my face into the same old, inappropriate smile. Fine, I'll leave. Fuck this. I'll buy her a villa by the beach and she can pick all the little shells her little heart so desires. G for gun. My twin brother told me he once held a gun to his mouth, finger on trigger. When he was down bad, freshly removed, no, politely asked to leave from Winchester College due to drug-related issues, my mother refused to speak a word to him for a year. H for Hu. This is my last name. It is also something the maternal half of my family tried to replace with Liu, because Hu belongs to my father, and my father belongs in a place very far away from the reach of my life and love. Liu belongs to a line of Chinese generals stretching far back, than my entrepreneur grandfather who built us from scratch. We have paintings of these austere men, sat square on brilliant white horses. I do not care. I for image. I was quite the unattractive child, slightly chubby. My mother was, and still is, beautiful. I despised pretty things growing up, yet the only stable thing which gives me pleasure now is looking like hot shit. Not that I mind. It is an additional source of pride for my mother too, a genetic muscle to flex for decadent dinner parties. J for just joking. I always am. Take me seriously, and that's on you, baby. K for kisses. More, please. No, really, please. I don't remember when I last hugged my mother without being immediately repulsed. I don't remember when I last let her kiss my cheek without it being an apology. I don't remember ever kissing anyone like I meant it. L for lack. Psychoanalytic theory states that children compensate symbolically for the woman's phallic lack. Will we ever be enough? M for Miss Mac. Miss Mac was my childhood tutor. She also taught my father and his two siblings. I remember her fingers pressing deep into my skull when I was younger as an attempt at relieving my chronic headaches. She would pinch the soft flesh between my thumb and index finger too. It's a well-known pressure point, and usually effective. She drank black tea in the same mug every day, and our chef often made her dumplings and spring rolls. I haven't seen or spoken to her since leaving for boarding school. I hope she is well. N for niece. My uncle spends most of his time smoking, napping, golfing. He's quite fat. When he was in school, my grandfather had him shuttled back and forth by a driver, and in college, a maid to cook and clean. Lavished. My mum was told she would never amount to anything because successful people treat time like money, and if she couldn't limit her showers to 5 minutes, it was a guarantee of future failure. Her hands were stained blue and purple by the hours spent playing piano and violin. In college, she was ordered to study engineering when really all she wanted was to match rugs with sofas with chandeliers with art, to assemble roofed fantasies for people to look good, feel good. Since my grandfather passed, my uncle has begun to take us out to family excursions because he wants to prove to my grandmother that he is nice and deserving of the title of chairman instead of my mum. She no longer calls him her brother. O for oh no. It's 9 p.m. She's back from the office, late. It's dinner time. We can hear her downstairs shouting desperately at some undeserving soul about something stupid. Oh no. P for psychosis. I don't smoke anymore because I started hearing voices. Why is it that the in, out, inhalation, exhalation of an unseen man, the cacophony of ritual drums and screeching banshees are more comforting than the "you know I love you" so frequently uttered by her. Q for questions. Do you really want answers? R for recurrent. There is a dream world I was a frequent visitor of as a child. I am in a cave, and the walls are cold rock, limestone. It is a factory, some sort of industrial institution. And even though I never see her, there is a witch who reigns within. Her presence is suffocating, and I feel a texture like wet Velcro scraping against blackboard, slithering under my skin. Goosebumps and prickling hairs. I wake. S for sorry. When you say a word over and over again, at some point it warps and all it really is are empty syllables fleshed out by vocal cords and tongue. Worn air dragged out between gaps of slick teeth. Buzz of a pest, mantra of the void. T for telephone. I am guilty as charged of never calling home. Someday I should get "call home" tattooed, so at least I've done something about it instead of wallowing in self-loathing. Or I could just pick up the damned phone. The number is 2882-2910. Easy. U for underbelly. The underbelly of a fish is pale, tinted with soft pinks and flashes of silver. I remember the raised tiger-striped scar which sliced straight across my mother's belly, still purple years after she gave birth to us. V for ventriloquist. Life can be a stage, and at the very least, I thank God and my mother for an interesting beginning to the story. No longer a puppet, I tug and pull at strings. They follow, they break. If not a tragedy, a comedy. It's all entertainment if you can find the laughter. A jolly good show. W for who? Me worry? I love Mad. Alfred E. Newman was right. Why hold on to expectations, only to worry about disappointment, when to have none of the former automatically means none of the latter? I will not worry. X for X marks the spot. Fuck off, don't touch me, I'm raw like ham. No, wait, I'm tough as nails. Come back. Y for Yaya. In Hong Kong, it is common practice to have Filipino or Indonesian maids take on the role of a second mother due to the frantic lifestyle of parents in the city. Yaya is Tagalog for caretaker. From the ages 0 to 13, I found myself attended to by a woman I referred to as Yaya Beth. Her hands were dark and calloused, her face marked by a plethora of brown moles. There was a particular one which rested on her chin and which stubbornly grew a long, wiry hair, even after a fierce plucking. It was terrifically ugly. She often watched horror films, drained her cell data whispering sweet nothings to her boyfriends at night, and stole. I was greatly attached, despite the fact that she beat my brother with clothes hangers, despite the fact that she had shouting matches with my mother and grandmother. Was it finance? Her love life? Her chronic laziness? Despite the fact that none of the other Yayas liked her. Despite. Z for zebra. My mother is an excellent shot. She has such remarkable precision that, when she travelled to Africa and visited a long-range safari for the first time, the guide himself was well impressed, commenting on her hawk-like accuracy after she managed to nail one of those flitty songbirds. She brought back leopard and giraffe skin rugs and gave us all wonderfully bound leather notebooks and stationery which depicted the Big Five. lion, rhinoceros, African buffalo, leopard, elephant. I wondered why zebras weren't included. They are stunning creatures, but I suppose the level of danger and difficulty to hunt is a key criterion. Thankfully, she is much clumsier with her words.